Muy buenas amigos, aquí estamos de nuevo con Star Trek Resurgence. En el último episodio habíamos visto que habíamos estado aquí intentando mediar aquí en Otari y estuvimos analizando también la lanzadera de Spock. Nada, ahora lo que tenemos que hacer es, aquí para ver si llegan a un acuerdo, es hablar con las distintas facciones, ¿vale? Entonces, pues lo que tenemos que hacer aquí, pues es, no sé, supongo que contarle rollos a todos, no lo sé, supongo. Así que nada, empezaremos a ver, bueno, pues no sé si ir en orden, si primero unos, luego otros, o no sé cómo hacer, la verdad. Así que vamos a ver cómo resulta. Aquí no digo nada, ¿no?
The captain
Bueno,
and ambassador have it handled. I've got my own mission.
vale. Vamos a empezar a hablar, a ver. ¿Este quién es? Este no habla. Vale, vamos a hablar aquí con estos.
Commander, I'm glad you've chosen to side with the Hotari. I knew the Federation would see through the Elidians' baseless claims.
Estoy del lado de...
Protect the interests of my people.
To be clear, I'm not on either side of this conflict. Our only interest is peace.
I will keep that in mind.
I assume you were there, the day the mines were seized from the Elidians.
Not seized. Reclaimed. And restored to their rightful owners. Yes, I was there. We had to be decisive. Before the Elidians could even realize there was influence upon them.
Did you have help from someone else?
Hotari stands alone against the Elidian forces. We don't need help from anyone. They respect one thing above all else, and that is force. The greater the force, the more certain the outcome. Any talk of making peace is just that, and worth little without the strength to secure it. Which makes me wonder about your ship, the Resolute. Undoubtedly the Federation's finest warship. Ready to contend with anything the Elidians might have in store. Or is that not true? Maybe I've misjudged it.
It wasn't designed as a warship. More for scientific research and exploration.
But the Federation must have ships designed for war.
Technically, they're Starfleet ships representing the Federation. But yes.
I see.
Paso.
A pleasure meeting you, Commander. I'm sure we'll cross paths again.
Pero esto que tenía solo que hablar con unos, ¿no? ¿Y qué hace? Apreciar el agua.
Soothing.
Vale. Vamos a hablar con eso. Vamos por orden, venga, vamos por orden.
Commander Rydek, I'm encouraged to see the Federation supporting my people. I'm afraid of what might happen without your help.
I'm glad to hear it. I just hope you're not the only one who feels that way.
I apologize for that. These are unusual times, to say the least. Much is changing. I saw you speaking with Sidron, our national hero. I'm curious, what did he say?
He seems to be of the opinion that negotiating for peace is a waste of time.
Because force is the only blunt instrument he understands.
Ya.
He's a miner, not a diplomat. For the first time in our history, the Hotari have the upper hand. We see ourselves as strong instead of downtrodden. New voices have risen up. Old voices shouted down.
Se ven fuertes. Eso puede durar poco.
Sidron have become national heroes. Now they have the Queen's ear. Better or worse, depending on your perspective.
¿Confían ellos?
I get the sense you don't exactly trust them.
I don't trust their instincts, which are leading us to war. My fear has been that the Illidians will launch an attack and crush us. You've seen their starship, no doubt. They could have retaken the mines whenever they wanted to, but it never happened. And as strange as this may sound, I'd almost say they're afraid. I just don't know what they're afraid of. It's still the same bluster and bravado.
De la Federación. De la tormenta. Ah, igual de la tormenta.
Fear of the repercussions. Once the Federation became part
Mira,
of
tenés que haber hecho la tormenta.
Possibly. But I almost want to say this was from the very start. Before engaging the Federation was even on the table.
Vale, creo que ya se acabó. Tiene que haber hablado de la tormenta, tío.
Since the day of the revolt, Galvin has seized control of the mines and restricted all access. No one's allowed without his personal authorization. And they've taken over a section of the palace with just as much secrecy and security. I'm told it could be something they brought back from the mines. I've made inquiries, but everyone pretends it doesn't exist. I strongly suspect they're hiding something.
¿Qué pasa?
What do you think it is?
I've heard rumors it's some sort of ancient artifact, but I haven't seen it myself.
How can we know?
Pasa algo ya.
I'd better see what's happening.
Do you think you can find out what they're hiding? I need to see proof of something before I can make my case to the Federation.
I can try, but even if I found it, I might not know what to make of it.
Take this. You can use it to capture whatever you find, and then send it to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will let you know what I find. And I look forward to our meeting again.
Que me sigue.
Sorry, I couldn't help but notice you were speaking with the Hotari this...
Vaya por Dios.
I figured in the interest of fairness, I should offer another perspective.
Of course.
I'm probably not telling you anything you don't already know, but these negotiations rely on the Federation's neutrality, as does any hope you might have for a supply of dilithium in the future. So, why you would choose to side with the Hotari escapes me. Without a Lydian involvement,
Somos
there is
neutrales.
no dilithium trade.
We are and will remain completely neutral. Our only interest is the peaceful resolution to this conflict.
As is ours. Of course, the question is, at what price? Major Salit Arminta, Special Attaché, Lydian Armed Forces. Pleasure to meet you, Commander. I have my issues with the Hotari, but I have to give them some credit. They know how to seize an opportunity. Inciting an uprising the same day as a massive, once-in-a-lifetime ion storm.
Sí que va a ser cosa de la tormenta,
Our assumption was that this storm was just an anomaly.
Yes, a very convenient anomaly. At least that was what we were told. Of course, I wasn't there.
¿Qué pasó entonces?
Who am I to say otherwise?
Something tells me there's more to the story. So what really happened?
Well, the official story is that it was the storm that enabled the revolt.
Pues mira, ¿ves?
How else do a bunch of unarmed, unorganized miners seize control of an entire moon, much less thousands of mines? But I've talked to people who were there. They tell a different story. They say they're lucky to have escaped with their lives. That it was more than just the storm. That somehow the miners were able to harness the energy from the storm. I know it sounds crazy. I'm not even sure I believe it myself.
You just answered your own question. How do a group of miners do something that in theory can't be done?
Claro.
That's how. Harnessing the storm.
But even if it's true, how does that even happen?
You tell me.
If you'll excuse me, Commander Ryder.
Cerrado tus gracias al capitán Solano. ¿Y dónde está? Y digo, ¿yo puedo hablar aquí con alguien más? No. Joder, ¿y dónde está Esteban? ¿Ahora para allí? ¿Qué es esto?
They seem proud of their culture. Pride can lead to rash action.
Well, that was a disaster.
What happened?
The Hotari refused to concede anything, so the Elydians stormed out.
Vaya por Dios.
The Hotari did not invite us here as peacekeepers. I hope your efforts were more fruitful than ours.
Bueno, pues a ver.
Gravitational harmonics failing to resolve. Warp bubble stability degrading.
Bueno, aquí nos vamos a rayar un poco.
Increasing warp output to maximum.
It's happening again.
It is evident that presently, the Resolute cannot achieve warp propulsion.
Since our diagnostics rule out any problems with our warp systems or anything about the ship, the problem appears to be the fabric of space itself.
El tejido del espacio.
You're saying something about this region of space prevents warp travel?
Prevents it, or can't sustain it.
Puede ser una tormenta.
However improbable, that appears to be the case.
The storm didn't stop us from leaving space dock and traveling here. But could it still be causing this interference with warp travel?
We must follow sound investigatory principles. Do not let an assumed conclusion drive your analysis.
Sometimes we need a little inspired thinking, Mr. Chovak. Captain Solano is on his way back from the negotiations, and I want to have some answers for him when he gets here.
Indeed. Given the facts at hand, we may be able to deploy subspace probes around the ship to construct a clearer picture of the phenomenon.
Around the ship. I'll prep a shuttle.
Vamos ahí.
I'm setting up a
A ver, esto es una aventura gráfica, así que bueno, lo que hay. Jugamos la mitad del tiempo.
When we get there, I'll deploy the first probe.
Hostia, qué guay. Adelante, detrás, para girar y Q y E para ascender. Hostia, qué guapo, tío.
Commander Westbrook, the Resolute systems are calibrated to receive the probe's readings. They are standing by to reproduce the warp field collapse after the first probe is deployed.
Thank you, Mr. Chovak. We'll be in position shortly.
And, Mr. Diaz, do take care in piloting the shuttlecraft. Now is not the time to indulge in the human penchant for joy.
Chovak probably isn't such a fun guy to work for, huh?
No le gusto. Es lo que me preguntó.
Seem to find a way to push his buttons. Yeah. I think he'd blast me out of the airlock if he thought it would help increase engine efficiency by 0.1%.
Well, don't worry about it. Chovak's opinion isn't the only one that matters. Last time I checked, I was still Chief Science Officer, and you made a hell of an impression on Ambassador Spock. I'm the one who should be worried with this new first officer on board.
Están hablando de la otra, tío. Vale.
This is far enough. Transporting the first probe into position.
Vamos a poner la sonda. Al siguiente lado, ¿no?
Westbrook here. The first probe is deployed.
Understood. We are reading it. We are about to replay the simulation.
No eran 3.
Problem?
Don't get me wrong. Things are definitely trending up with Commander Rydek. She's put my ideas into action. And she listened to me when your life was on the line out on the hull.
That sounds like a good thing.
It is. But I'm still trying to figure out if she's right for the
Yo no por el
job.
puesto. Está dudando.
Through what the rest of us did. Still got chosen to be number 1. Can't
No es que
tell
lo
if she was
tengas en
actually
cuenta.
siding
Es una buena líder. Tengo que hablar bien
or
de
if we
ella.
just fell on the same side.
Well, from what I know, Rydek's a real leader.
Yeah, that is what we need, isn't it?
From a first officer? Sure.
Fair enough.
Test is running. Warp field collapse in 3, 2, 1, mark.
Oh, tía.
Whoa. All right, that is definitely a problem with the fabric of space. We need to get another probe out there.
Claro, joder, hay que despegar. Venga, dale para adelante, coño.
With 2 points of data, the Resolute and the probe, we've managed to get an interference pattern. I'm setting a waypoint to a particularly strong area of interference. We'll deploy the second probe there.
Qué cicatriz más guapa le ha quedado, tío.
Listen, I'm gonna give you a piece of advice I wish someone had given me. Make sure you're never just one thing. And don't get so focused on what's in front of your face that you lose sight of the big picture. Before Rydek showed up, the captain pulled me into his ready room and told me he didn't think I had the people skills to be first officer. What a load of crap. I mean,
Sí que tiene donde gentes.
about Chovak. Sure.
Well, if you're asking, I
Joder, pero si estoy atento a la conversación, no estoy atento a llevar la lanzadera, tío, para no chocar por aquí, tío.
Officer, you, one of the senior staff, talking like old buddies.
I should send Solano to talk to you.
Bring him on.
I'm sure you can handle him. You've got potential.
Ay, 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 ay.
You're a capable engineer. You're good in the field. Keep up the good work. And who knows? A solid jack of all departments like you could be Commander-in-Chief of Starfleet one day. Hell, Admiral Jellicoe started as a shuttle pilot. And there are places to go in the enlisted ranks, too. Of course, if you get an officer's commission, they'll put you on another ship.
Soy feliz donde esté. ¿Podría extenderme?
I love it. So put me up for promotion. I'm ready for my next challenge.
Well, I think you're going to have to prove that to your boss, Chovak, first. He's the one who has to put you up for consideration. If I were first officer, it would be different.
Well, then I'll just have to change Commander Chovak's mind. I'll work hard and better, and he won't be able to ignore it.
You've got great.
Eso es lo que hay que hacer.
I'll give you that.
Acá estamos llegando.
Here. This is close enough. Stop the engines. Deploying the probe. Westbrook to Commander Chovak. We're ready for another sampling of data.
Very good. Running the simulation again. Warp field collapse in 3, 2, 1, mark.
There it is again.
I saw it. It seems to be directional.
Que no sé
What
qué
about the
cojones.
scans? Anything?
Los sensores no dicen
In
nada.
relation to our local space.
¿Qué van a decir?
We've got the Resolute, Otari Prime, and the probes.
All this interference is overloading the sensor buffers. We're gonna have to triangulate the sensors manually.
Encuentra picos de interferencia. Mira aquí. ¿Y qué?
We got something.
These markers indicate peaks in the gravimetric interference patterns.
Let's see if I can find some more.
Otro ahí. Y otro ahí.
Hold up. This is coming from the moon,
A beam that blocks warp travel.
aimed right at us.
Someone is doing this intentionally. I don't know how they're doing
Es un
it.
ataque, tío.
It's like nothing I've ever seen.
We're under attack and we didn't even know it. We need to stop them. Unplug whatever it is they're hitting us with.
Now, look here. It's our current readings of the ion storm.
These concentrations, they line up with the interference pattern. The storm and this beam, they're coming from the same place.
Carter, whatever petty local conflict brought us here, it's just a small part of something much bigger.
Chan, 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 chan. ¿Qué pasará? Los hijos de puta del planeta, tío.
Presently, we don't have an explanation for how they're doing this. One thing is clear. This is no fluke.
Thank you, Mr. Westbrook. I want a full briefing when I'm back on board. Solano out. A targeted weapon that inhibits warp travel. Coming from the moon Tau.
That would explain the difficulties my shuttle encountered. More importantly, the tenor of the Hotari during the negotiations.
And here I thought the Illidians would be the problem. Coming to peace talks in a warship. This wasn't supposed to be so complicated.
For all their posturing, every indication is that the Illidians are afraid of the Hotari.
Huh?
They didn't bring their warship as a threat. They brought it because they're scared.
From everything we witnessed, I would say that is highly likely.
But what are they afraid of?
Tylus, the Hotari representative, said she thought they found something in the mines. Galvin and Sidron brought it back to the palace, but they're keeping it under tight security. She's going to investigate it. I gave her my tricorder. I expect she'll contact us soon.
You found an ally.
Why would Tylus help us? Go behind her people's back?
Quiere salvar su
Fair
pueblo.
question, considering.
She's worried that her people are being dragged into something that isn't going to end well for them. She's trying to save them.
That may be true.
She's certainly more likely to help than the other Hotari we've met.
That raises another question. Specifically, what do the other Hotari have to gain in bringing us
nave.
only to make this hostile maneuver against us? There must be some motivation.
Unless they changed their minds between when they asked and when we got here.
Guerra.
Given their indifference to the negotiations, and what we now know about this warp-disrupting weapon, it's almost as if they want to start a war. And Sidron was convinced the only thing the Illidians respect is force.
Puede ser verdad.
I would say he's right about that. But at least they know when to hold back.
But that does not explain why they would turn their aggressions against us.
I don't think the Illidians know what's really down on that moon either.
Major Armintas said the revolt defied explanation. That the Hotari miners somehow harnessed the energy of the storm.
Harness the energy of the storm?
Doing that is beyond even our capabilities.
So is a weapon that disrupts warp travel.
There have been civilizations and entities, both past and present, far more technologically advanced than the Federation.
The Illidians and Hotari don't fall into that category.
But that is all the more reason to investigate further.
Ya te digo.
Right, Ek. Sorry to interrupt. We've received an urgent call from Hotari. The Queen's advisor, Tylus, has asked to speak with you.
Put her through.
Galvin and Sidron are still with the Queen. I've enlisted help to gain access to the room they have under guard. I don't have much time.
I'm not supposed to leave my post.
It's only for a moment. I so appreciate your help.
I found something. I'm sending you a scan.
Got it. Tylus, if we needed to gain access to the mines on Tau, is that something you could help us with?
I suppose it wouldn't be easy, but I have to go.
Tylus.
Se pone interesante. No.
Sorry, Captain. We've lost all contact.
We can only hope she escaped without harm.
It was hard to tell.
Tenemos que ayudarnos.
We have to help her. Send another shuttle.
We're not
or
doing
maybe...
anything yet. Not until we know more. Let's see the scan of whatever the hell that was.
Vaya, allá le pasó algo a su normal a este. Ah, le gustó quejarse por problemas que pudiese sufrir Tyler. Ah, no. Vale.
Tyler suspects this came from the mines on Tau.
It appears to be of ancient origin, but the markings are unfamiliar.
We can run a full analysis when we get back to the Resolute. But if this came from the mines, then it might be the key to how they got the upper hand against the Illydians.
Then we have to go into the mines.
The Federation would not allow that. We were, after all, sent here to be a neutral party in a peace negotiation. However, we could demonstrate that the Hotari have acted in bad faith, which would enable us to investigate the mines on Tau with full justification. But of course, we would need conclusive proof before taking action.
Whatever this artifact is may be proof enough. At least to satisfy the Federation.
Especially if we can show the Hotari are controlling the warp disruption. And targeting the Resolute.
We may have a better understanding once we analyze the device. But a mission to the mines, covert or otherwise, is not out of the question. And I will handle the Federation.
Pues parece que se anima a esto.
As I was telling Carter, I want all the data I can get on this warp problem. And the negotiating team's shuttle has been recording data all the way back from Hotari. Even better than our probes. So pull the sensor and engine ISOs from the Melville when it sets down.
Will do.
I'll join you and Chovak down in engineering to run another analysis after the briefing.
I didn't like this warp problem when we thought it was some astronomical anomaly. And I like it a hell of a lot less now that we know someone is doing it to us. How does it work? What do we even do about it?
What do you say we pull these chips and find out?
Took some damage on the way. That ionic interference scored the hull plating. Might be some micro welds. Let's try pulling together.
All right.
3, 2, 1. It won't budge. Gotta be the storm damage. We need to... Welcome back. Any excitement down on the surface?
Excitement? No. Nothing like that.
Hey, can you hand me the EJ7 interlock? From the toolbox.
I don't know what that is.
Not much use for one on a security detail, huh? Carter?
Yeah, I'll get it.
Soy profesional. No voy a fardar, hombre.
Okay, I'll apply pressure while you decouple the panel.
Joder.
Here, I'll help.
Abierto.
We've got this.
Open up and say ah.
Thanks for the hand. We have to get these isolinear chips down to engineering.
No problem. You really know everything about these ships, don't you? The tools, the systems. Like a walking Starfleet technical manual.
Well, what can I say? I'm good at what I do.
I can see that.
Se enfadó. ¿Dónde coño está? No es eso. Ah, Carter. Vale. Hola. Un engreído.
Come on, start pulling chips.
Un engreído, dice. Pero, me está vacilando. Sí, pues si fardo. Hola.
What's this?
Some kind of crystal formation?
¿Cómo? Pero... ¿Cómo cojones se cambiaba el chisme? Tío. Se me ha ido la olla. Controles. Recorder. QI, QI será. No, hostia. No, coño. A ver. Ah, vale. Soy idiota, ¿vale? Lo tenía que dejar apretado.
This substance is a quantized spin crystallization of hydrogen, carbon, and lithium. It's emitting tetrametric pulses at an interval of 3.8422 seconds.
Quantized crystallization isn't natural. I mean, it's only theoretical as a means to engineer matter on a subatomic level. What's it doing in there?
Ya la vas a liar.
Wait. Regulation 364, subsection 9.
What?
Regulation 364, subsection 9 orders that in the case of an unknown foreign substance infiltrating a sealed system, it will be placed in secure confinement before further examination. Retrieve a containment module.
Don't you think we're more equipped to deal with whatever this is?
No.
No. Before anything else, this is a security issue. You don't even know what this is.
Which is why we need to study it.
Once it's
Una
contained.
amenaza.
Well, if it's not natural, then someone might have put it there. It could be a tracking device, some kind of sabotage, or even a bomb.
Which is why we need to get it to the containment lab.
Come on.
I can't make an exception. Not even for you.
I'm still going to report these crystals to Commander Westbrook when we send the shuttle data.
And I will inform my superiors. I'm taking this just as seriously as you are. But I overheard talk about the warp disruption on the shuttle. Now these crystals? Maybe this situation is more than we can handle with just a science vessel. We could trigger a distress call, get Starfleet to send more ships. Or I could send a message to my old CO on the Adirondack. Get some combat
crees que
testing
puedes?
vessels. We shouldn't do this alone.
That wouldn't be a bad idea. If you think you could do it without getting in trouble.
I'll find a way.
Be very careful.
Okay, stand back.
Bye.
Get this to the containment lab. We'll get it set up for you. I'll let you know when it's safely confined.
Oh, we'll be there.
Last thing you want is to study this down in main engineering and have it explode next to the warp core.
Pues vale. Hala, hala, hala.
Almost forgot.
Can't have that.
Bueno, Si piensas que, que soy un engreído.
Like she might have changed her mind. But I guess this whole situation has her spooked. Maybe she knows more than us? Or it's because this is all happening so fast?
Yeah, there was something a little off about her.
Like that talk about sending a distress call? That was pretty out there. Although, you didn't...
¿Qué te pasa a ti ahora, joder? Vale. No, joder, qué manía.
Seem to think so. She was probably just thinking out loud. I'm sure she'll come to her senses. This mission has enough complications stacking up.
Now, we'll get through it. You, me, and Miranda too.
Commander Rydek was able to work behind the scenes during the negotiations and made contact with a representative from the Hotari delegation named Tylus. She mentioned an unusual artifact of unknown origin being held under tight security within the Hotari Palace, which she believes came from the mines on Tau. Now, this artifact might have a connection to the revolt, to the storm, and to the warp disruption we now know has been targeted at the Resolute. Commander Rydek, if you want to take it from here.
Of course. Tylus managed to infiltrate the heavily guarded location within the palace and sent us these scans using my tricorder. It appears to be some sort of control panel, possibly connected to the warp disruption weapon originating on Tau. Of particular interest is this symbol, which we couldn't identify the origin of.
The Federation database has records from a vast number of civilizations. If anyone from Starfleet has come across this before, the system should recognize it.
Cross-referencing with Federation records.
Displaying symbols from Federation database with a 90% probability of match or higher. Select a symbol to further analyze.
A ver, ¿y cómo coño hago eso? ¿Eh? Tía, te parece un poco, ¿no? ¿Cuánto? Bingo. ¿Qué?
99.2% match.
Got it.
So, what are we looking at?
The design and composition indicate this is a glyph associated with the ancient Khan Empire. Their civilization collapsed over 600,000 years ago, but once spanned millions of systems with a population numbering in the trillions.
Fascinating.
Joder.
The Khan were once the most advanced, most powerful civilization in the galaxy.
Is it possible the Hotari found Takan technology?
I wonder if they even know what they have.
Our knowledge of the Takan is limited.
Saben cómo usarla.
Passing references to them.
I can't speculate about how much they know, but one thing's for sure. They know how to use it.
Indeed.
Which might explain how they seized control of the mines.
And targeted us with a weapon that prevents warp travel.
Computer, what is the last recorded discovery of other Takan artifacts?
On stardate 41386.4, the USS Enterprise D, under the command of Captain Jean-Luc Picard, discovered a Takan outpost in the Delphi Ardu system. According to the mission summary, an unbreakable energy-draining field was deployed against the Enterprise and a Ferengi ship. The Enterprise was only able to escape after negotiating their release with an entity known as Portal 6-3, Guardian of the Takan Empire.
Unbreakable energy draining field. It starts to make sense.
What else is there?
There's a lot here. Let's take it piece by piece.
Select the aspect you wish to learn more about.
Bueno, gente, pues vamos a dejar este vídeo por aquí. Ya en el siguiente seguiremos pues investigando más sobre esto que tenemos aquí, que está bastante guay. Así que nada, muchas gracias a todo el mundo y nos vemos en el próximo. Hasta la próxima.